everyone. My name is Lucia Wang, and today we're going to talk about what to do when life gets crappy and we need to get happy, in my opinion. First off, I would like to start off by saying that what inspired me to talk about this topic today is I hear so many people talk about how miserable they are, whether they're single or in a relationship. There's a sense of hopelessness and sadness with them as they express their unhappiness. And they either begin entertaining the idea of continually searching outside of themselves for their happiness or resigning themselves to accept being unhappy forever. Well, I have some encouraging news to share with all of you and how we can all change our mindset, refocus, and embrace a different perspective. And so I want to start off by saying that everything is in life is a choice. We can either choose to make the hard decisions that move us forward in a positive direction, leading to peace and happiness for the future, or choose a path of remaining in stagnation that keeps us stuck in fear and misery. Let me repeat that again. Everything in life is a choice. We can either choose to make the hard decisions that move us forward in a positive direction, leading to peace and happiness for the future, or choose a path of remaining in stagnation that keeps us stuck in fear and misery. Now, here's a news flash for everybody. Happiness is our own responsibility. It's not anyone else's responsibility to make us happy. This is definitely worth saying again. Happiness is our own responsibility. It's not anyone else's responsibility to make us happy. So we should never rely on someone else to make us happy. Why, you may ask? Because none of us are perfect. We will not be happy 100% of the time. Think about it. Let's say you are depending on your friend to make you happy. What if life happens and your friend changes for the worse just temporarily and gets depressed for a long period of time? Are you going to ride that negative wave with your friend and allow the depression of your friend to greatly influence your life and causing you to go into a depression too? That's something you want to think about. Um, and that's why it's important to rely on yourself to find the happiness from within, because if you put your hope and your happiness in somebody else, whether it's a friend, romantic partner, family member, whoever, they're not perfect, just like we're not perfect. So if something happens to them in life, and life happens to everyone, by the way, we all can't escape the tragedies and accidents and things that happen in life. It happens to all of us. So when life happens to whoever that you're putting all your happiness in, and they become unhappy for a period of time, what's going to happen to you at that point? Like I said, are you going to ride that negative wave with your friend? And if your friend gets really depressed, are you going to be depressed as well? So that's why we need to rely on ourselves and find our own happiness. This is why it's important for each person to maintain their own happiness so that when life happens to those around us, we're still on an even keel and we're stable and happy. We're still on an even keel, stable and happy emotional mindset. So we're able to help encourage others in their time of need and vice versa. Let me say that again. It's important for each person to maintain their own happiness so that when life happens to those around us, we're still on an even keel, stable, and happy emotional mindset, so we're able to encourage others in their time of need and vice versa. The beauty of this is that it works both ways. Whenever we're struggling or having a bad day, then the others around us who are happy can encourage us and lighten our load. So that's why it's important that we all everyone has to hold their own weight so that when one person is down, if your friend is down, you're up, you're able to help your friend at that point, encourage your friend from being depressed, right? Or if you're depressed, if your friend is happy, your friend will able to help you and encourage you to become happier. So there's a give and take. There's an equilibrium there, a balance. So it's important that every person finds their own happiness and holds their own weight when it comes to happiness. A simple example of this is picture you're out on a boat. You're sailing, and the boat you're on is totally equipped with all the right safety equipment, and maintained properly and up to date on all its routine maintenance, and your friend is on a boat that hasn't been properly maintained, and your friend's boat stops running, the engine won't start, but you're able to come to your friend's rescue and tow their boat back to shore safely. If your boat wasn't maintained properly, like your friend's boat, both of you may have been stuck out at sea, and then both of you would be in a stressful, precarious situation, hoping that someone else comes along or that the Coast Guard would somehow get notified to come rescue the both of you. The point is, it's important to find and maintain happiness within yourself. So that's just one of many examples, but I think it's a good example. And it makes sense, right? If everyone maintains their own boat, right? I'm using the example as a boat, but we're talking about, in relation to your own happiness. Then if someone else, a stranger or a friend or a family member or someone that you know, they need your help, then you're able to go and reach out and help because your boat is intact, right? And vice versa. So if everyone wasn't happy, so the other point to this is that if everyone doesn't have an equipped boat, then they can't help each other out, right? Then they're both lost. So that's just something to keep in mind as a simple example. And philosophically speaking, we come into this world alone and die alone, so we need to embrace the idea of self-reliance and finding peace and happiness within ourselves. I'm not saying to become narcissistic, selfish, or self-serving. On the contrary, what I am saying is to foster self-sufficiency and self-love. It's being the best that you can be, to becoming the best version of yourself. So this way you can show up as the best version as yourself to others. When you can reach this state of self-sufficiency and self-love, then you are able to become happy when life gets crappy. So again, this is not, I know we often think of, a lot of people think that when we tell them to think of themselves, we automatically in society think it's narcissistic. And what I'm proposing, this is a different kind of thinking for yourself. It's not being selfish, but it's just being the best that you can be for yourself so that you can be a positive influence on other people around you. And that has value, right? That has value, and it's not self-serving. As a matter of fact, you're doing this so you can be a light to others, which is actually you're being selfless. You're being the best that you can be so that you can be the best for someone else in their time of need. And I guess that's the best way to put it. Folks, it's not a matter of if, but when life gets crappy. For those of us who have lived long enough, we know this is to be true, that we all have bad days and days when life just happens. Are we ready for those crappy days? Are we going to triumph and get through those days with hope and happiness, or are we going to allow those crappy days to define us, bring us down, and steal our joy permanently? If you look around, it saddens me to hear and to see people around the world that are just not happy. And I understand that. I mean, especially when you're in a relationship or you're going through a tough time, there's just things that happen in life. It's very difficult to be happy all the time. But we have to find a way to be happy, because as we all know, life is too short. We cannot allow others or things that's beyond our control, especially, to steal our joy, and that applies to things that happen in life and or people, right? If someone close to you or a stranger, they're not happy and they're having a really bad day, the last thing we want to do is to take on their grief and let their mood influence our mood, right? It does no good when next thing you know, all these people are miserable, and all these miserable people collectively are not going to be able to help themselves or help the rest of the world, right? Some of you may be wondering, how can you get happy when you're feeling depressed and are stuck in a negative mood, a negative mindset, or even a negative relationship? This is a very common question that I hear. The question is always, how am I supposed to get in a happy mood when I'm not feeling happy? And I'm in a relationship that just frankly sucks, right? Your significant other or your family member or whoever, you and that person just got into an argument, or there's words exchanged that were not very pleasant. uh, it could be very disheartening, and definitely it could change your mood and make you unhappy. I highly recommend going to seek counseling to help you break free and heal from whatever is dragging you down. All of us have hidden childhood wounds that happened when we were very young, and subconsciously we're operating in an unhealthy way because of those wounds. So, what I'm saying here is that it's normal. It's normal that everyone has a bad day. We ourselves have bad days, right? What's not normal is when you allow somebody else's bad day to to affect you to the level where now you're having a bad day. Or another way to put it, if a relationship that you're in is toxic, especially a toxic relationship, you don't want to bring that toxicity in your own life. And so what happens is, when you're with people that are, especially people that are close to you, it's very difficult to maintain your own mental health when you're with somebody who is toxic or depressed, right? So, and usually when you find yourself in a toxic relationship and you don't realize you're in a toxic relationship, or if you're in a toxic relationship and you can't seem to find a way out of that relationship, it's usually because there's some kind of childhood wound that you don't even realize, it's subconscious, that happened while you were a child. You were traumatized as a child by either a family member, parents, a guardian, whoever. There's some things that may have happened that triggered this self-defense mode, or this this wound in your heart that you just keep replaying as an adult, right? So, and most of us don't even realize this until we're at a point that we're just so unhappy and we can't seem to find a way out. And that usually occurs when we're involved with someone on a deep level in a relationship. And so here, so folks, I'm here to say that it is definitely worth, if you find yourself in a situation where you and your partner are constantly arguing over the same things, nothing's ever getting resolved. The relationship has gotten to the point where it's toxic, it's destructive. You guys are yelling at each other, constant power struggles, right? This is the time you need to take pause and suggest that you both go to a marital counselor, or if you're not married, a couples counselor. It's definitely worth it. Someone who's qualified, licensed, and trained to help both of you work through communication issues and to work through some possible childhood wounds that need to be healed. Because here's the deal: if you don't ever heal those wounds, which we all have, most of us have, you will replay this pattern of negativity and destructive behaviors in all your relationships until you finally get help and get it taken care of. And I think the sooner the better that we all, just make the effort, make the decision, and just get it done. It's definitely worth it. Your happiness is worth it. When you can explore those painful wounds with a professionally trained licensed counselor and do the hard work to heal your wounds, you will finally break free from your unhappiness and start learning to love yourself and be happy. So that's the beauty of the result of when you finally do heal from all this. You will finally learn to love yourself, which is probably one of the main problems. It's the key to happiness is self-love. And we're not saying in a narcissistic way, but in a whole heart, in a wholeness kind of way, so that you can finally heal from whatever has traumatized you as a child, has hurt, has deeply wounded you on a level that you're not even aware of. And then and then once you heal, you learn to self-love. You learn to love yourself. And this is all, and by the way, folks, this is a process. It's not going to happen overnight. You didn't get this way overnight. You're not going to heal overnight. It's a process. And if you ask me how long, it depends. It depends on how wounded you are. Everyone processes pain in their own time and their own way. So I no one can give you an answer on that. But I think the sooner that you address it, the sooner you can get to that point of happiness. And it doesn't matter how long it takes, right? As long as you get there, that's the most important thing. So it's important to take the time to heal and to become happy, because once you become happy, that will open up a whole new world for you, and and your perspective will drastically change on how you see yourself and you see others. Okay. And I'm going to stop here and just quickly go over. I recommend you get my latest book I wrote, Fairy Tales Are for Frogs, and The Reality of Happily Ever After. This is the most recent book I wrote. It talks about finding happiness when you're in a relationship. It addresses exactly what we're talking about here today, is how to find your happiness from within. I'm not a trained counselor, but I do recommend that you go to a trained counselor and do the work that you need to do. But this is a good read. It's a short read. I don't, when I write a book, it's not a long book. Okay. I don't like reading long books. And for those of you who only, there's only 24 hours in a day. So if you don't have a lot of time in your hands, this would be a good book that you can read pretty quickly. And I think it'll be very helpful and valuable for you guys if you want to uh, learn how to find happiness within yourself. And my books are available through Amazon.com, or you can go to my YouTube channel, and there's a link there to purchase the book. Um, so, as the saying goes, no pain, no gain. We've all heard of that phrase, right? No pain, no gain. We can feel rest assured by going through the temporary pain of the healing process that we will finally be happy. After all, at the end of the day, isn't being happy something we all desire? We will be able to enjoy life to the fullest and find meaning in life when we are finally truly happy. So let's remember, folks, when life gets crappy, get happy. Okay? I know it's a cheesy phrase, but I just made that up. It, but the point is, but that's the point. Okay? It's a cheesy phrase, but the point is, that's what you have to do, because it's not a matter of if, it's when. Life will deal us some lemons in life. Life's going to happen to all of us where we will have there's be a rough patch in the road in our journey that we have to deal with, right? And that's the time that if you have done the work and you're healed, you're able to recover from those moments a lot easier and quicker than if you are not in a happy mindset. So I hope this has been helpful to all of you. Um, if if you can resonate with what I said, please feel free to click like and click share. Comment below if you have any comments or questions that you want to add, and definitely hit the subscribe button so you can keep posted on all of my videos that are going to be happening in the future. Okay, so folks, there's hope for you. There's hope for all of us. It's No one ever said life was going to be easy, but I truly believe that if we just take the first step to find our self-love and to heal, to find our self-love, we all can be happy, and it's worth it. It's definitely worth it. So until next time, folks, I hope you stay happy, and I'll see you soon.